He said I can read lips. Okay. Is this better at all? Better, better, better. Can you hear me? 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 The live YouTube said that there weren't any sound, which is crazy because that never happens. Always good. It always happened. You can hear me now. I keep hearing all good. There you go. We good? We good? We good? Okay. There we go. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. I have no idea what happened there, but we got sound. Thank you, Gabriel, Brandon, Jump Tube, Rail, Joey. Thank you all. Thank you all. Appreciate it all. Thank you, CJ, Malty. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we got that was crazy. But thank you all. Appreciate all your patience and all the craziness. Despite all the craziness, okay. Just I made another minor adjustment. Do you all still hear me? Do you all still hear me? Check, check, check. Do you hear me? Y'all still we good? We good? Everybody good? Chris Sound turn heel. Yes. It's out. Yes, Brandon. Turn heel like Daniel Bryan tonight. What in the world is that all about? So let me know if you still we good? We good? We good? Okay, Joker. Yep, good. Gary, good. Okay, cool. Michael, Tammy, good stuff. All right, so let's have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so before the sound turn heel, awesome, Brandon, Charles, Gabriel, good stuff, guys. All right, so we're gonna have some fun. Let's do it. Thank you. I put over my no sound well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, so we got some fun people joining the chat room. For those who are tuning in the first time, this is a very interactive show. Okay, so thank you so much for your support for this 346th episode of the Pancakes and Powerslams show. I am Chris Featherstone, of course. And we have this thing going on. We have this PNP Nation, okay? Ask Chris, hashtag Ask Chris, and we do this every time. And oh, thank you, Gary. I appreciate your. But of course, this is a family. I ain't gonna act all proud and pretend that no crazy stuff happens within this show. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun every week. For those new on the chat, very interactive. We have some fun every single week. We have the hashtag Ask Chris. If you want to ask about any type of exclusive stuff, if I know it, I'll let you know. If you want to ask anything about my life as a professional wrestling fan, as a professional journalist, anything wrestling related, let's have it. Let's have some fun, and let's do it. So we always have a great time here on the Pancakes and Powerslam show. And for those who join the chat room every week, they will attest to the fact that we have so much fun. We also have trivia every week. This week is going to be exclusively Survivor Series like it was last year. Pans and Slams is the best by far. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Malty. I love this podcast because it's great and interactive. Thank you so much for all your support. You are all awesome, and you're making the first timers, and the great welcoming for the first timers, guys. You're awesome. The show is awesome. I'm here every week. Thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate that. All right, so we got Hogan, we got Daniel Bryan heel turn, which is crazy. So a lot to talk about tonight. All Survivor Series trivia tonight. So let's start right into the first Survivor Series trivia question. Who cashed in his Money in the Bank contract to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the 2015 Survivor Series? Who cashed in his Money in the Bank contract to win the World Heavyweight Championship at the 2015 Survivor Series. What do you got? All right, so let's get some of these Ask Chris questions. Hashtag boycott Survivor Series. You know what, Gary? This card is weak. I'm just not a fan of just this card, and it's funny because Becky and Ronda was what I was looking forward to the most, and now Becky's out. So, I mean, a heel Daniel Bryan against a heel Brock. This, I don't get it. I mean, we'll talk more about Daniel Bryan, but if you wanted to turn him heel, which I'm not a fan of, but if you want to turn him heel, why did that have to be before Survivor Series? Are you trying to? For some reason, it seems like we may get a Drew McIntyre Brock Lesnar feud. It seems like they're kind of indirectly trying to trying to make Lesnar a babyface going into Survivor Series, because it's quite clear that Daniel Bryan is the heel here, based on his what he did with AJ Styles. Just a weird development right before Survivor Series. It's confusing. It's quite confusing. Let's get some of these Ask Chris questions. I am asking, do I think AJ Styles is hurt? I haven't heard anything about AJ Styles being hurt. I haven't heard anything about it. I can try to find out, reach to some people and find out, but I haven't heard anything about AJ Styles being hurt. It seems like they're trying to. It clearly shows what they're trying to do as far as a development for post Survivor Series. Because I have heard that Samoa Joe is hurt, so you really don't have a strong heel to go against Styles. But it's just weird. It's just quite weird. Heel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels at 35. Yeah, I think we'll get Michaels and Taker. A bunch of cool Ask Chris questions. Gary asking, yeah, tell me why I want to see a heel Daniel Bryan get squashed by Brock Lesnar, because in my opinion, if Lesnar doesn't squash Bryan, then it hurts his character. Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree. I mean, if the David and Goliath story works if Goliath is bigger than David. I mean, why in the world would you have any type of David versus Goliath type of anything with Daniel Bryan being the heel and Brock Lesnar being the babyface? You could have set up like it was a dream match, Bryan versus Lesnar at Mania, the ultimate, comeback story, ultimate David versus Goliath story. But for some reason, you still have Lesnar as a heel. He hasn't done anything that's changed into a babyface. And now you have Daniel Bryan as a heel. It's just a weird development. It's so weird. Let's see what else we got in the Ask Chris questions. Very good Ask Chris questions so far. Also trivia on deck. I'm sure once again, who cashed in the Money in the Bank contract to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the 2005 Survivor Series? Once again, Ask Chris. Hashtag Ask Chris. Do I think Bryan's healed is long-term? Steven's asking. That's a good question. I really think that they're just kind of deprived of good heels right now, honestly. And it seems like what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan is just really have him feud against Styles, because you saw on Styles in the promo, he was talking about how he he beat everybody, he has nobody else to fight. So, you know, very interesting. You know what, Brandon? I think you bring a good point. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like a Daniel Bryan heel turn is an excuse to have Brock Lesnar massacre him. I think that's a very, very good point, actually. Michael's asking who's replacing Charlotte Flair for the women's SmackDown team. Also a good question. Who do they have now? They didn't even announce a fifth. Did they announce a fifth? Because I know they had 4 last week. So do you have the Iconics? Do you have both of the Iconics? I'm sure that WWE will announce it, but I think as of last week, they had 4 out of 5. And now you have Charlotte out, so you only have 3, Naomi, Carmella, and Asuka. So I think, well, no, you do have Sonya Deville. So you have Carmella, Naomi, Asuka, Sonya Deville. So you need 1 more. So I think you put in what? Mandy Rose. What are the options now? Mandy Rose, Billie Kay, or Peyton Royce? I think probably like a Peyton Royce, because I don't see Mandy Rose, honestly. I don't see it. All right, cool. Good Ask Chris questions. Michael's asking, love the Daniel Bryan heel turn. These characters getting stale. I don't, honestly. Just a Daniel Bryan is a tried and true babyface. That's why it didn't work with the whole no thing. It didn't really work that much. So, but he was getting booed. So, so far so good. We'll see after Survivor Series. I think it could have waited, honestly. I think it could have waited. So, Martino's asking, why didn't Raw retaliate? I think because the Raw, I think Raw is going to win. So I think you kind of had SmackDown one up Raw, because at the end, Raw is going to win probably. I am asking, he'll ask Chris, heel Daniel Bryan versus AJ for Royal Rumble. Which face can take on heel Daniel Bryan for WrestleMania? I don't even know if he'll be heel by WrestleMania, but if he does remain heel as champion at WrestleMania, I don't want to see AJ Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. If I could pick one, see, here's my honest opinion. I would like to see Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura as a babyface again, because Nakamura's heel turn is just terrible. I would prefer that. I would prefer for Nakamura to win the title. But as far as the list of baby faces right now on the SmackDown roster that can have a Mania type of big stage match, I know they're not going to do it with Jeff Hardy. Ray, maybe. Do we see Ray versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship? Still not a Mania type of feel to me, honestly. So, Sheamus is the correct answer. Good job. We're about to bring in my boy Evan Tech Proud, the co-host with the most. Flavor of the week. The end of the show, we have a random discussion topic every week called the Flavor of the Week. This is what we developed last week, the best current WWE theme song. So we did the play-in game, the play-in for all the circles, the play-ins. So here is the bracket. We're going to figure out fans' choice who the best WWE theme song is. So we're going to have some good fun with that. Gabriel's asking, ask Chris, do you think the trios tag team titles will work in WWE like the New Day have the titles? So all 3 members can be in the match like tonight on SmackDown. No, I like the idea of a trios championship. I like it in New Japan. I like it in Ring of Honor. WWE just have too many people, too many championships. As we saw with Shinsuke Nakamura, they're just terribly booking him as U.S. champ. So, no, I don't think it'll work. Honestly, unfortunately, I don't think it'll work. Let's do one more trivia question before we get into the headlines. Here we go. Who retained the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series 2013? Who retained the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series 2013? Gary's asking, do you think Brock refused to lose to AJ? So they took the title so he can squash Brock. You mean Daniel Bryan? Okay. Typo. Squash Daniel Bryan, not Brock. That's a good point. Actually. I think that probably will happen, honestly. Brock could probably squash Daniel Bryan. Probably AJ. AJ seems, from what I know, he's a company guy. I don't think he'd mind jobbing to him, but probably the way that they want it, probably not. Something had to happen. So, all right, good stuff, great stuff. I think there was one more. Okay, I see Cody. No, Big E, Brandon usually is on it with the trivia. Good job, Brandon. On it with the trivia. One more. Shane versus Daniel Bryan WrestleMania. Could be. That could be. Yeah. Since Daniel Bryan's the heel now, it seems like Shane was supposed to be the heel, but it doesn't seem like they're doing that now. It seems like Daniel Bryan's the heel now. That may have been a Shane thing, but now it's a Daniel Bryan thing. Rickson is asking for worker safety. Should Nia Jax be fired? Oh man. Yikes. Yeah. Nia Jax is not matter of fact. Evan Tech Prout likes Nia Jax. Says he's a Nia Jax fan. I haven't really been sold on Nia Jax ever, honestly. There's been times where she has been very she has not been safe in the ring at all. We saw that against the shoulder breaker against Charlotte that one time on Raw where she almost broke her neck. I think there was a time against either Alicia Fox or Sasha Banks that she just did a horrible job. So yeah, she's not done a good job at all. Making anybody's life better in the WWE ring. So it hasn't been as bad as it was, but man, like why would you even throw just a straight shot, straight arm jab against anybody? That just, I don't know. Maybe her hair is being pulled out or something, and I just don't understand. I heard that she got a little heat for it too. I mean, at this point, it's like enough's enough. So, Evan Tech Prout, hey yo,
what's going on, guys? What's going on, brother?
Man,
Getting ready for
Nia Jax, the Survivor Series.
let me correct something. One, I'm not a Nia Jax fan. I just find her very attractive. It's two totally different things.
Two totally different things. Yeah.
Literally, they said Joe's going to kill you. I said before, it needs to be Jax. She dropped Charlotte on her head. She didn't catch Charlotte at that time doing the moonsault. She just let her fall on her face. She almost killed Sasha Banks' shoulder. Let's not forget, she did the bill on Bayley one time on Raw, almost tore her shoulder.
Oh yeah, Bayley too. Oh.
I'm like, God, I met the woman. Me and you talked off air. I was at the same hotel as in the Raw 25. Pleasant girl. She's reckless.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just find her attractive. That's it. But there's nothing to do. I'm not a fan of her in the ring. Her voice is annoying. The song is right. She's not like most girls. It's like they try to channel that how China was in like 1999, 2000, 2001. They kind of try to channel it with her. But at the end of the day, Nia Jax, she has a Samoan blood. so she always will have the fly protection.
Yeah.
Had this been any other chick that was not a Samoan, and I'm friends with the Samoan family, you know my family. I know them. I'm friends with them. I'm nothing against them, but real is real. If you a Samoan, and if you a Flair, or if you Snoop Dogg's cousin, you're safe for life.
Yeah. Or Vicky Guerrero.
Bailey,
Yeah. Vicky Guerrero has a
what was that?
Vicky Guerrero has a lifetime yeah. She's immune too.
If you don't fall into one of the 4 categories, you're done.
Yeah.
There's been Bailey, one of the Ride Squads. Well, I say like a legend, like a Trish or Mickey James, that's different. But a Ride Squad or Bailey or, you know, well, I can't think of anybody. Becky Lynch or Free, the nosebleed, we'll get to that. She would have been gone.
Yeah. Dana Brooke.
Something.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Dana Brooke would have been gone too.
And I'll add something real quick about Daniel Bryan. Kid, yes. I think a fan that said maybe Brock didn't want to job to AJ. You know, maybe AJ didn't want to go. Let's not forget, I believe it was 2 years ago, it was AJ against Brock at the Survivor Series. Good match. AJ got a good amount of offense. Brock won. I just think maybe Vince decided to do something different. Who knows?
Yeah.
AJ could decide to throw in his rematch clause, and it could be a triple threat.
Oh.
You know WWE's famous for last.
Oh gosh.
Sunday morning we can wake up. It could be that. Also,
I do not want to see a triple threat match. This is what, you know, it's been a while, Evan, but this is what I got to bring this back for the triple threat match. Absolutely not. No triple threat match.
I hope not. But we are talking about the WWE. So, also see, maybe McIntyre can interfere. He keeps trying to tease this McIntyre against Brock, which is kind of cool. But should we really believe that McIntyre is going to be a threat to Brock? Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all pushing him to be strong, but Brock still beat everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So who is there left?
Yeah.
That could be Brock besides Reigns, and we know, Reigns is going to be gone for a minute.
I don't know.
Daniel Bryan is, and AJ keep getting kicked in the private parts every time he turns.
Right. What's up with that? Right. There were 2 people who turned heel on him in 2018. Both of them found that his AJ Jules was the way to go to make that happen. So, yeah, Gabriel's
and like you said, Survivor Series card is weak.
It's very weak.
I mean, gosh, this reminds me of Survivor. We can go. I mean, the Survivor Series with my good old buddy Chuck Norris, '94.
Yeah,
that was on Thanksgiving. I mean, gosh.
Yep.
Matter of fact, go to Survivor Series Game Wars. This card is weak.
Very weak. Very weak.
Very weak. So I don't know. Maybe Sting can show up. Maybe they can have him take this.
Come on, man. Don't say Sting. Don't say Sting. Why would you bring in the GOAT in this conversation as far as if that could happen?
I'm just saying, man. This Survivor Series is so whack and weak. They got to do some cameo to go. Have Taker come out, have Kane do a Bourne promo, something. I mean, Bret Hart show up with his jean shorts. No.
Bret Hart's not coming out.
War Games too, the Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And hopefully the War Games cage have a roof.
Speaking of War Games, Charles asking, ask Chris, will Velveteen Dream win the NXT title takeover? I hope so. I surely hope so. Yeah. All right, so let's get into Hogan talk. Got a lot of people asking, what about the Hogan talk, brother? All right, so Maltese asking, have I heard any call-ups after SurvivorSeries? Looks like they're waiting. It looks like Aleister Black may be up there. Maybe I've heard of Aleister Black. I don't know when, but I have heard Aleister Black. Yeah. Any heat? Gary's asking, any heat between Nia and Becky backstage? No, not that I know of. I haven't heard of any.
No.
I don't even think it was a Becky thing. I think it was a matter of just Nia, because she had her head down and she was just kind of doing some haymakers. Why would you do that though? All right, Gabriel's asking, do I see Jack Swagger, Wade Barrett, and Impact soon, since LU and Impact since they have a working relationship? Yeah, I can see definitely Swagger. Barrett's not doing wrestling.
He's not doing
as we saw on Lucha Underground, he's kind of doing, kind of like an authority type role. That's what he's been doing. He doesn't wrestle much, or if at all, anymore. Swagger, yeah, I can definitely see Swagger in there. I can text him, actually. I spoke to him recently, and I'll see. I'll text and see. All right. All right, so one more question before we get into Hogan, brother. Who won the WWE Tag Team Championship at the 2012 Survivor Series? Who won the Tag Team Championship at the 2002 Survivor Series? Rixana, if you didn't have to watch Survivor Series for work, would you watch? That's a good question. Yeah, Jake Strong is his name. Man, it's been so weak. I just
I think for us, even though we gotta watch it for work because it's what we do, I just think just the fan in us, just to know that it's the Survivor Series.
Yeah, just because it's the Survivor Series. Yeah, I think that's a good point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, headlines. Let's get into Hogan talk. Here we go. Okay. Good job, Brandon, with the constant. He is the trivia king, man. Los Guerreros winning in a triple threat match, if I'm not mistaken. Your first answer was wrong. Thank you for your honesty. All right, so Hogan. Definitely shout out, definitely credit the Wrestling Observer Live for this. Based on Hogan, there was the information that is being told is WWE. This is reported from Wrestling Observer Live. WWE's been told. WWE's been told no Hogan. No, do not mean the social media has been told do not mention Hogan. The point of that is to have him come back in the States, have like a grand entrance in the States. And I mentioned this before, like a week, like I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Crown Jewel. And I did say, it was quite obvious that they had him come into Saudi Arabia because he would be receptive a lot better, in Saudi Arabia as opposed to a New York or Chicago crowd, which it would be a big risk, that he probably get booed by quite a bit of people. But he might have been booed out the arena. So after a 3.5 year absence, having him come back, in a tough crowd, or really just any crowd in the United States would, it would run the risk of him not getting a warm reception, a warm comeback reception at all. So that was the point of him going to Saudi Arabia. But the Wrestling Observers, they're reporting that they were told. I mean, he was told. They were told no. Hogan on social media, kind of still warm the United States crowd up for Hogan, and we'll probably see him in 4.5 months. So we'll probably see Hogan at Mania. He did talk to the Orlando Sentinel Sentinel, and he did say that he was appearing at both Crown Jewel and WrestleMania. So probably what Hogan will probably he'll probably host WrestleMania. The only thing is WrestleMania is in one of the toughest crowds in all of professional wrestling. That New York crowd, it's in New Jersey, and the New Jersey crowd is one of the toughest crowds in the nation. So that would be a very interesting way of bringing Hogan back. Yeah, I don't see him coming back because Rumble's in what, Phoenix? It's in the stadium this year and next year, I think so, right? I think it's in the stadium in Phoenix. I think it is. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I know for us to go this thing, but I've said this before. I say it again.
Chase Field. Gabriel says that's in Phoenix, right? Gabriel.
Star for professional wrestling history.
Mm-hmm.
He saved professional wrestling. Yes, we can argue The Rock, we can argue Austin, blah, blah, blah. No, it's Hogan. It will never be a Hogan before or after. He will always be the biggest star in pro wrestling. And after Hogan, I give it to Austin. Because Austin was number 2 to saving it. And I ain't forget about Bruno. Bruno's 3, I get it. But it's all about PR right now. You know, the racial stuff going on. You still got the riots and all of the, the Me Too movement and the race wars, and it's all about PR. And I get the move of why they was like no Hogan. I mean, they don't even mention him. They edited him out. Like, hey, they don't even mention the man's name. They blacklisted him again. He's in the same list as Sid. So some of the other people that they kind of quietly blacklist. But I get the move at the end of the day. Hogan can show up in New York, which is a tough crowd. Here in Baltimore, we're a tough crowd. Chicago, he's still going to get cheered. Come on now. Hogan.
Yeah, he's Hogan.
New York is going to need Hogan because New York is one of the biggest markets. It's New York City. Even though it technically is, in New Jersey, but still, MetLife, WrestleMania, Hogan's name attached, it's synonymous with the name. You gotta have Hogan there. You just think he's gonna be there, we don't know. Cena's gonna be there, I'm pretty sure. Is The Rock gonna be there? We don't know. You gotta have Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But U.S. crowd, it's Hogan, man.
Yeah.
He's the man. He legitimately is the man.
Yeah, at this point, it's gotten to the point where you're like, yeah, it's gotten to the point where you're like, he paid his dues. He's been out, and we got people in the chat room saying that they'll still boo Hogan. So I don't know. Yeah, so Jesus is saying, let's be honest, Hulkamania started in New York in a sense. So yeah, that's true.
JBL with the Nazi walk, and they got the MSNBC killed his contract. That he still was able to travel overseas, even though he took kind of like a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can be done. Like you say, he's paid his dues. People just hold on to stuff. When it's not you, and saying in general public, when it's not them, people hold on to stuff forever. Can it be them? Maybe one. Come on now.
Yeah, here's my take on it. I think it creates an adverse effect. I think it's kind of counterproductive. Yeah, I think it's kind of counterproductive. If this is saying this as a black guy, I think it's counterproductive if we don't forgive, because I think it's kind of, he did his. Here's the thing, and I've said this before. By no means will I ever justify what he did, and he should have been fired, hands down. He should have been fired. And I also agree with Mark Henry that he needs to take strides in and doing more and kind of showing that he's apologetic, because a lot of people, from what I know, like they accept him when he came back, during Extreme Rules, and we cut the promo, backstage. But there was some who were like, yeah, that didn't seem genuine. I mean, I'm good buddies with JTG, and he wrote an awesome piece about just him being a part of Hulk Hogan being a part of his legacy. I mean, just he grew up on Hulk Hogan. He idolized Hulk Hogan, and it really hurt him. So Tammy said his apology came off as insincere. Yeah, I mean, I agree. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man.
Example with sports and with sports fans outside of wrestling is Michael Vick. Everything went down with the dogs, and look at the time it took for him taking strides. He did the Peter commercials, and he was talking to the kids, and he did a lot of PR to build his reputation. He took those strides, like Mark Henry said, to kind of show the public, hey, I made a mistake. This is what I did. I'm over it. And it took him a little bit, like Mark Henry said. The same thing with Hogan. Somebody mentioned on my show earlier. Same thing is, maybe going to a black college, talking to students, doing commercials, doing a lot of PR to show, hey, you're sorry, you shouldn't have did what you did, but hey, I'm trying to get past this.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Yep. Yeah, I think that is the ideal method. I think, but because here's what it boils down to. I forgive Hogan, but I still think that he has a ways to go as far as a general consensus of people feeling like me, because there's some people who just don't think he's sincere, and I can see that, because I think it boils down to are you kind of practice what you preach. It's like, show me better you can tell me type of thing. It's show me that you are genuinely regretful for what you did. I mean, was it the liquor talking? Was it a very tough point of your life? There was talks about Test says he needs to call World Star Hip Hop. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, was it the liquor talking? Was it there were big marital problems? I'm sure that there's a compilation of things that caused him to say what he did. But here's the thing. Listen, I'm really big into psychology. People know who listen to the show every week. I'm about to become a doctor in psychology and forensic psychology. So I always look at stuff like this, and I think about what's going on in the mind. See, and the thing is, Lexi just brought up a really, really good point. It wasn't a Freudian slip. Speaking of psychology, it wasn't a Freudian slip. That was his ideology. That's hard to forgive. I understand that. And it wasn't the first time he was caught using that type of language. So, yeah, there was some other time that he was caught using a language, and he said before that he didn't know that type of lingo. He didn't know that the N-word was offensive because of how he grew up, which was the worst explanation I could ever hear in my life. I'm like, he was like, here's my thing. I'm like, Hogan, listen, I'm on your side, dude. Like, I want you to get out of this. Okay, so Malty's asking Lexi, what's a Freudian slip? It's a psychology term from, of course, Sigmund Freud, which a lot of his research is very outdated. But a Freudian slip is basically like, if I say X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, and I'm talking, and I'm like, blah 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 blah. I hate black people. Oops, you know what I mean? Like, and it's supposed to sound like it's I didn't intend to say it, but at the same time, it came out just naturally. It just slipped out, but it wasn't it was what I felt, but I was being too PC and wanted to cover it up, but that slipped out. So, you know, of course, I don't personally hate black people because I'm black and my wife is black and all my kids are black. So, but I like white people, I like Asians, I like Hispanics, I like every people. So yeah, Tony was saying subconscious thought. Yeah. So basically it just slips out. So if I yeah, so basically Hogan did show Brandon is giving me the Brandon is giving the chat room the legal definition, I guess. I think an unintentional error regarded as revealing subconscious feeling. There you go. Maltese saying thanks for explaining, Chris. Yep. Michael saying Freudian slip is that, well, I just explained. Accidentally blurt out something that's your true feeling, which I just explained there. So yeah, so I mean it happens in politics a lot. Freudian slips happens in media a whole lot. You know, someone's getting interviewed and you know, someone's the PC thing is to say, well, you know, I'm sorry for him and his family, and you know, the Freudian slip comes in when I say I'm really sorry for him and his family. Sometimes, well, I'm really sorry for him and his family. You know, so I didn't mean I meant sometimes, but I wanted to keep it in a way that wasn't offensive or something. So there you go. Hope that helps. Seemed like it has helped with explaining a Freudian slip. So yeah, and Lexi brings up a good point. It probably wasn't a Freudian slip. I mean, it probably was a Freudian slip. It probably, unfortunately. So, all right, good stuff about Hogan. I think that we'll see him back at WrestleMania. Brother, yeah. Tammy says racism doesn't just slip out if you're not a racist. You know, I think that's a fair point there. So
I've been told off air by some Hall of Famers other stories relating to Hogan and this incident. Same way with Flair. But I always say, hey, you can't confirm or deny it if it's no tape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no videotape, no recording. I can't confirm or deny it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard from legit sources and friends, some people we know mutually will not mention it on air about Hogan and his ways back in the day, saying we were Flair, but just to mention it, which is another reason why some people won't publicly mention it, why they feel Hogan's physicist there, he's for the prayer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully this has changed them. Hopefully that you know, he'll continue to be changed by this. I think if he continues to get backlashed by this, we'll see. Unfortunately, Gabriel, you get a clap. Can someone within WWE have a Freudian? Gabriel, you get an applause for tonight. Where's my applause at? Yeah, I think that was absolutely hilarious. Here you go. You get applause, Gabriel, for that comment. So far, comment of the night goes to Gabriel. Can someone within WWE have a Freudian slip about creative? That is absolutely hilarious. All right. So here's the thing. I gotta plug. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Love my WrestleMania logos in the back here. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you so much about that. All right, so let me plug the Patreon account. So here's the thing. Over 100 interviews, actually close to 200, over 100 people, different people interviewed on the show. You know, 6.5 years, over 6.5 years, 346 episodes to give you all awesome content. So I threw out some feelers on the show before a few weeks back, and also on Twitter. So with the Pancakes and Power Slam show officially has a Patreon account. So go to patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Show your appreciation by giving some your financial dollars. And also we have one tier. I'm cool with other people. I'm cool with other people who has like all types of tiers, like $100 tiers, $50 tiers. Listen, here's the WWE Network's $9.99 a month. So, I appreciate each and every one of your support over the past 6.5 years. You guys are awesome. I always say the Pancakes and Power Slams fans are the best fans in the nation. You are all so awesome. And so give, if you can. This isn't some forced promo, give or die type of thing. I really just appreciate your support. So go to patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. There's a $1 a month donation, just as a sign of sign of your appreciation. Wanted to give financially to the Pancakes and Power Slam show. And then there's a $5.99 tier because I have an interview every week. I've been doing this for years consecutively. A wrestling interview every single week. We got Johnny Fairplay coming up. We got Robbie E coming up. We got Kenny Dykstra coming up. So we have a slew of interviews coming up. What we're going to end up doing is I'm actually going to give a fraction of the interview because I do spend a lot of work, to be honest with you. I spend a whole lot of work putting together these interviews. It's so funny because I had Shane Helms on the show one time, and I'll never forget it. He said that he had a podcast for a short time, and and he was like, he gave me kudos because of the consecutive weeks without missing one. It's been 346 consecutive weeks without missing a single show. So, he gave me kudos both. Thank you, CJ. And yeah, so basically, he was talking about how he applauded me. We were talking off air and on air as far as just the consistency from my show and the stuff like that. I really, really appreciate that. So I appreciate that very, very much. So yeah, an interview every single week. So a part of the $5.99 tier, you get exclusive Ask Chris Facebook Lives. You get full interviews. You get to be a guest co-host on the show with Evan and I. And you also get to just financially contribute to the Pancakes and Power Slam show. So greatly appreciated. And I appreciate all your support, honestly. And thank you so much for your just continued support. This is incredible. And it's been like 6.5 years. It'll be 7 years in April. And there you go. So thank you so much, guys. Go once again, patreon.com, PATRE. Yes, I will type the link in the chat, actually. Thank you so much. Good job, CJ. Thank you much for that. Yeah. Patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Give full interviews, exclusive blogs, exclusive information, exclusive live chats with wrestlers, Q&As with wrestlers. Like I said, I know a lot of wrestlers in the business. I've interviewed over 100. Yeah, and there you go. So thanks so much. Thanks so much, guys. All right, so let's get to the next headline. I appreciate your support. I really do. I really do appreciate your support. You guys are so awesome, and I will always say that you're what keeps Pancakes and Power Slam show ticking. And so we have created such a big empire in this past 6.5, almost 7 years, and I thank you, the fans and the avid listeners and the PNP Nation for really supporting it. I'm so indebted and and gratefulness and gratitude for you all. So you all are awesome, as the Miz would say. All right, so let's get to Daniel Bryan. Let's get to Daniel Cormier. So he's planning on retiring at 40, and his birthday's in March. So they're looking at a March date for Cormier versus Lesnar. But Lesnar just signed a short-term contract with WWE. So the fight could be in jeopardy. Cormier was recently on TMZ saying that he said that they're certainly going to fight. They're definitely going to fight. I don't know. We might not see Cormier versus Lesnar. If Cormier does retire, I can see a John Jones versus Lesnar. I can see John Jones, increasing his weight to go against Lesnar. That was kind of the money match, anyways, before Jones got suspended. So the talk was Jones Lesnar, anyways, and so when Cormier, got the title again, well, he got the lightweight title, and then he got the heavyweight championship and became dual champion, competing in the heavyweight division. Then the call out, and Lesnar goes in the octagon. Cormier beats Derek Lewis. He calls him out again. So Cormier is a wrestling fan, so he wants to fight Lesnar, and I think he'll demolish Lesnar, to be honest with you. But we'll see. I mean, I think WWE would be very hesitant. Lesnar doesn't have, according to Meltzer, he reported this on MMA Fighting, I believe. He doesn't have an exclusive contract to UFC or WWE. He's allowed to appear in the UFC as part of his WWE contract. And so, I think that the WWE would have some type of course, I mean, he's the Universal Champion. So I think the WWE would be very hesitant for him to compete just weeks before Mania. Like that UFC at March 2nd, that March 2nd date is like 4-5 weeks before Mania. So, if he gets a concussion, that would just throw everything out. You're building up this big WrestleMania match between him and whoever for the Universal Championship, and then he has to, he's concussed, he can't fight. So that would just be a big. It would be terrible. He could get injured. It would be really, really bad to do that. So I can definitely see them, if the Lesnar Cormier thing happens, I can see them dropping the title off Lesnar at Rumble. But the thing is, you kind of want to build Lesnar at that Mania spot because he's one of the biggest names. I mean, he is the biggest name in WWE. So it'd be kind of tough to do that, really. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. You guys have, wait a minute, I just missed some awesome comments here. Gary says, thank you for your responses. Feels good to be heard. Yeah, what's so funny about that? I was just thinking about some things to really separate Pancakes and Powerslams from the rest. And I was like, you know what? I really, really appreciate the fan interaction. Even when we didn't do live chat every week, which is the best incarnation of Pancakes and Powerslams. We did a lot of, we used to do call-ins back 6 years ago. We did call-ins, and that's going to be a part of the Patreon tier, being a guest co-host. And so that was cool, but it was just kind of like, that was cool. And then, we did some formatting stuff for like a year and a half. I had a guest co-host from all different types of websites and wrestlers as co-hosts and things like that. And So I'm very, very happy with this version of the Pancakes and Power Slam show because you all have a voice, and I'm really happy about that. And I've always been, as an entrepreneur, as a business guy, as a podcaster for almost 7 years, and just how my mind works. I always wanted to do something. I always want to do something different. You know what I mean? Like, because you can have the same of a bunch of stuff, and you get tired of it. What's different? Podcasting. When I jumped into podcasting, it was very rare. You too, Evan. We jumped into a time where it wasn't a dime a dozen like it is now. That's what podcasting is, a dime a dozen now. There's a podcast for everything. Like, hey, WrestleMania logos podcast, belt replica belt podcast, a personal training certification right here podcast. It's just, there's a podcast for everything. So it's like, but right. Android phone podcast. So it's just, there's a podcast for everything. So what makes it different? The PNP Nation and you all, you make it different because you are the voice of the podcast. And Malty says, Chris, you and Evan are just as big a part of the PNP Nation as we are. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. So thanks. So Gary says, Gary already signed up for Patreon. Thanks so much, guys. Malty says, people in the wrestling community caring about the fans. What kind of monstrosity is this? I love it. Oh man, what's Malty, you get an applause for that too. You get an applause for that too. Yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's jump into, before we get into this bracket here, let's talk about Raw and SmackDown. Just really, everybody in the chat room, just give us your thoughts. Every week we grade Raw and SmackDown because there's so many Raw and SmackDown podcasts. Of course, Wrestling Inc. has the best Raw and SmackDown podcasts. Check out the Raw podcast on Mondays, the SmackDown podcast on Wednesdays. I'm sandwiched between a full Raw and a full SmackDown podcast. So there you go. I'm not gonna. I stopped giving full, like, extensive Raw and SmackDown reviews a long time ago because as it got it just became so boring to me. Joker says, I like the other Wing shows, but this one's more interactive. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gabriel says, I love the interactions on this podcast. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Yeah, so what do you grade? What's your grade for Raw and SmackDown? We'll just we'll do that just for those who just send your grade for Raw and SmackDown.
Raw give an A because of the ending. When Becky Lynch nose busted, still taking it hard, not flinching. Raw ended like that with the women main eventing. I thought it was a very, very good ending. I give it about an A, something different. I really enjoyed it. SmackDown, Big Show couldn't get up after he pinned Big E, which was hilarious. AJ Styles is lost in the shuffle. SmackDown, I didn't get SmackDown, but it. But I keep giving SmackDown C pluses. Being Bryan being heel, I like the execution of it. Just the reasoning makes no sense. He said, "Bro, he's going to face Brock. He's going to get squashed. What's the point?" So I guess it nullifies Daniel Bryan and Miz.
Yeah. Yeah,
that storyline they had consistently going for a year, going on 2, and for some reason when he wrestled, no one cared about the match, so it just didn't go over well.
Yeah.
Now that feud number 5. So Daniel Bryan is a heel. It's like, okay, whatever. And it would have been better if they stayed for Survivor Series. Because AJ get beat, he was going to lose, and then Daniel Bryan come up to help him out, and then,
yeah, that could have worked. Yeah, Daniel Bryan actually cost Styles the match because that would have protected Styles too. Yeah, that would have protected Styles. Jesus says this is a great podcast, guys. Love it. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Let's see. Raw 7 to 8, SmackDown Live 8 to 9. Both brands had strong finishes. Tammy says Becky saved Raw and SmackDown both C's. Gary says Raw A minus, small SmackDown B plus. I get it, Brian, a B plus player, but don't. Taylor's asking, Axe Chris, is AJ the most boring champion ever? Yeah, I don't think I've said this before. I don't think it has anything to do with AJ Styles. He's amazing in the ring. You know, he's AJ Styles. The fans still love him. It's just the booking. He hasn't main evented since Fastlane. That was March. So 8 months he hasn't main evented. That's ridiculous. Ask Evan. There you go. Ask Evan. We got an Ask Evan hashtag. There you go. Malty's asking, who is your favorite active WWE wrestler?
Active WWE wrestler. I gotta go. Even though his catchphrase makes no sense, burn it down. I gotta give it Seth Rollins. Right now, he's been white hot. He's been consistently good.
Yeah.
Great matches overall. Currently, I give it to Seth.
I'm a big Seth Rollins fan. Yep. Yeah. Those are two fantastic choices. Kimbo, what's up, Chris? Finally catching live. Love the show. Yeah, who drove the white Hummer, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, Kimbo, finally catching live. Love the show. Thank you. Appreciate that. Gabriel says Raw C minus, SmackDown B minus, Joker Raw B minus, the ending SmackDown Live C minus. It all fell apart. Okay, cool. For Raw, so Strowman's working injured, and it's quite obvious that he's working injured because like his big boots are like, you know, big hips or big, you know, big quad, big boot to the quad. So it's quite bad actually. Yeah, the sweet shin music. Remember, Dude loves sweet shin music. That's basically what Braun Strowman's big boots look like. So yeah, so I overall, I say a C plus. The ending was good. Yeah, I think that's what made it a C plus. I'm not a fan of the Bryan turn. I think it was mistimed. So as far as SmackDown's concerned, but I think it was a solid show overall. The stipulations was good. Stereo Miz, Hardy and Almost was good. So I'd give SmackDown. Becky's promo was good. So yeah, SmackDown, I'd give it a B, solid B. So, all right, so we are going to go. I'm going to ask a couple more trivia questions. We're going to get into this bracket. Ask Chris questions first. GHP's asking, funny how they have Raw vs. SmackDown for Survivor Series, but for other pay-per-views they promote each other. Right. Definitely not the brand split from 2003, 2009. I remember Taz talking trash about Raw. Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Right, and promote each other's pay-per-views, but we're split though. But we're competing against each other at Survivor Series. We don't like each other. Brand supremacy, and then next month we'll promote your pay-per-view. Brandon's asking, ask Chris, what are they doing with Lashley? It's awful. Yeah, I've talked about this before. You know, My man. Lio Rush is being, to me, I think that Bobby Lashley is being outshined by Lio Rush. I've said this before, and the more Raws I see, the more it develops. The more I see Lashley come out, the more I feel that he is being outshined by Lio Rush. And I think the problem with that is that you're trying to make him a heel, and Lio Rush is spending so much time, saying, this chiseled out of stone, blah, blah, Lashley, and all that. But he's outshining Lashley. And then the pose, they're trying so much to do all this mess. The pose, like that, they're trying to draw heat by doing that, but it's failing miserably. This whole thing that they're doing with Lashley, and I've said this before, it's terrible. Just the way that they're booking him as a heel is terrible. Jesus is asking, is the Charlotte versus Ronda match SurvivorSeries underrated? I think this is the match to watch. Yeah, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match. Nothing to it though. Honestly, there's nothing. There's no anything to it. No rhyme, no reason. Whoa, Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. Okie dokie. It's there's nothing. There's no stipulation to it. There's nothing that's drawing me to watch it, and that's what wrestling should be. Why am I drawn? What's drawing me? Back in the day, I remember it was all about hype. It was all about making people excited, to watch the show, to watch the pay-per-view. But now I'm just like, okay, so you think just throwing matches at us is going to cause us to be excited about watching a pay-per-view? Like, just throwing matches at us, that's not going to do anything. So, yeah, but I agree. Lashley should be treated like Brock Lesnar. I want to see Lesnar Lashley at Mania. That's my ideal match. Hopefully, and I said this before. I think I said this last week. Ideally, I would want to see Lashley break away from Lio Rush. He say, this is, being with you actually hurt my career. He wins the Royal Rumble. He breaks away. He becomes a babyface. We see Lashley versus Lesnar at Mania. And that's a kind of clash of the Titans type of thing. And I think that, that type of irresistible force versus immovable object, that's a foolproof plan for WrestleMania, period. A foolproof plan. We saw it with Andre Hogan, and that's just a foolproof plan. And I think Lashley Lesnar would do the job for that clash of the Titans type of feel. And Lashley could go in the ring. He's a great worker, and so yeah, I think it'll sell tickets, and I think it'll be exciting to watch. Next trivia question: the first Elimination Chamber match debuted at which Survivor Series, and who won? The first Elimination Chamber match debuted at which Survivor Series, and who won? Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Follow at Cray Wrestling on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Prolific. Leave some positive comments on the show if you liked it. If you didn't like it, tweet me and say, hey, Chris, I don't like the show. And I was like, God bless you. Thanks for watching. Brandon, once again, killing it on the trivia. 2002 Shawn Michaels. Great stuff. Can't help myself is what he says. Lexi's asking, could there be a twist with Ronda Charlotte and Charlotte wins the belt and goes to Raw? Well, possibly. I don't see Ronda Rousey losing, though. I don't see her losing probably until Mania, actually. GHP's asking, this might be out of the WWE regimen as far as having Raw versus SmackDown at Mania, but I wouldn't mind them touching up on the Becky versus Ronda situation. There's been so much heat with these two. I think you can do it at Rumble because, both Becky and Charlotte won't be in the Rumble because, both Becky and Rousey won't be in the Rumble. So, have them two go against each other at the Rumble. So I think that's a good way to do it. Just one Ask Chris question with Gabriel. Do you think WWE would have had a sketchy finish tonight on SmackDown, resulting in triple threat after SummerSlam, or just go with what they went with tonight? I don't want to see a triple threat at all. I don't want to see Daniel Bryan. I think we've came to the conclusion on this show that they'll probably have Brock Lesnar squash Daniel Bryan, a heel Daniel Bryan. They'll probably have Lesnar squash him like he did at Kevin Owens on the house show when he squashed him. So we will see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's zoom through. We got like 10 minutes, so let's zoom through this flavor of the week. We might not even make it to the second round. This might have to go another week, honestly, because we want to get to the Survivor Series predictions too. So let's do as much as we can, at least get out of a round, and then we'll get to Survivor Series. All right, here we go.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
Okay. Jesus, do you think Chris, do you think Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles and Mania could happen? No, I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it. All right, so here we go. Here's the bracket here. Let's start off with Styles versus Mysterio. Who's a better theme song? This is through Twitter. I tweeted last week, and you all gave me these options. It was originally 16. Multi says my Survivor Series predictions are the fans. Man, you are killing it with the comments tonight. Are my Survivor Series predictions are that the fans lose? I love it. So Styles versus Mysterio. Let's zoom through this as much as we can so we can get to these Survivor Series predictions. All right, looks like Styles. People like Styles' theme song better, so Styles beats Styles wins. All right, next is Aleister Black versus Randy Orton. GHP was not a happy camper about this one because he's a big Lars Sullivan fan.
Orton, he needs something new.
I tell you who needs something new is Nia Jax. She, especially as a heel now, I can tell that they dyed her hair, to make it more of a heel look, which I like. But yeah. So what do you got? I see Orton. I see Orton more than Black right now. So Randy Orton. I get some more. Oksana. All right, who we got? So we can zoom past this. All right, so the next looks like we're tied with Orton and Black. The next one I see wins. Next one I see advances. Randy Orton versus Aleister Black. All right, who we got? Randy Orton versus all right, Aleister Black. That's the next one I see. All right, Carmella versus Asuka. Carmella versus Asuka, and do not include the dance break. Yeah, the worst theme songs is good too. We're all American boys. That was quite bad.
From this legend, I've told him to his face after 2 years of being good friends with him and knowing that he won't punch me in the face. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Wonderful. They call him Mr. Wonderful. That theme song. That theme song was terrible. Oh man, why did you remind me of that terrible theme song? They call him Mr. Wonderful. Bobby Roode versus Kevin Owens. Wonderful. Bobby Roode versus Kevin Owens here on the bottom corner here. Who you got? Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens. No, Jesus, I've not been to the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I think it's in Wichita. I have not. But that would definitely be a bucket list item. We got Rude, Glorious, or Kevin Owens. See, he's tied right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and break out this next round and finish the semifinals next week. I see. Okay, so it's a tie. 1, 2, 3, 1. I see Owens more now. What? Nobody. You guys don't like the Glorious theme anymore? Well, as far as major theme. So Owens wins this one. Just to find out, just to see a little bit more. Looks like Glorious. Looks like okay. So I'm seeing a Rude. All right. So looks like we're tied. Next one I see advances between Rude and Owens. Who I got? Rude. Okay, Owens. Next one I saw was Owens. All right, Rollins and McIntyre. We got 5 more, so we got to be quick. Rollins, McIntyre. Quick. Who we got? Rollins or McIntyre? All right. All right. So I'm seeing Rollins. Okay. I'll put Rollins down. Drew McIntyre's theme song is my favorite theme song out right now, other than another one on here right now, actually. I think y'all should spend time. It's fans' choice, so y'all get to choose. I think y'all should spend some more time listening to Drew McIntyre's theme song is incredible to me. It's like it fits him so much. It's my favorite right now. You're friends with the president of the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Jesus. Okay, well, make it happen. Let's do this. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree, Gabriel. Yeah, big fan of Drew McIntyre's theme song, but y'all chose Rollins, so y'all get to choose. All right, real quick, 3 more. Strowman versus Dream. So we'll do all these at the same time so we can get into these Survivor Series. So write all 3 answers at the same time. So we got Strowman versus Dream, Nakamura versus Balor, Undisputed Era versus Usos. So write all 3 of these at the same time. Once again, Strowman, Dream, Nakamura, Balor, Undisputed Era, and the New Day. So you got all at the same time. So we got Dream winning. Dream advances. So Nakamura and Balor. And then Undisputed Era and the New Day. All right, so as y'all write those down, we'll get to the SummerSlam predictions. All right, so let's see what we got for SummerSlam. Let me bring that up. SummerSlam. Let's see. All right, so Nakamura, Usos. On Dream, Balor, Undisputed Era. Okay, so Undisputed Era. Usos is out actually because New Day wins. New Day beat the Usos last week. Your Survivor Series predictions. I said SummerSlam. Oh man, why? All right, so Nakamura wins as well. All right, I said SummerSlam. the other SS abbreviation. So this is the Survivor Series, not the August event, but the Survivor Series event. Oh man. Are you on with the 7 Tech Proud? Let's see. Okay. Survivor Series. All right, so let's do this. Survivor Series. Real quick. Let's do so Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. All right, so let's get right into this. Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar. What we got? Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. What we got? Chat room. Let's see. Jump on Evan. I think Evan's having some technical difficulties here. Let's bring him back on if possible. If not, we gotta roll with the punches. Wonderful. All right. Let's bring up to Survivor Series lineup here. All right, so real quick, let's do the result, the Survivor Series. All right, so yeah, I got Brock Lesnar just killing Daniel Bryan. I think the Usos, yeah, just a squash. You choose no one. Lexi says I choose no one. Brock. Malty's got Daniel Bryan. Okay. That's a big surprise. All right, so let's go Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. I got Rousey winning. What else you got? Rollins versus Nakamura. I got Rollins winning that one. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Who cares really? But I can see Raw winning that one. People saying Rousey, mostly Rollins. I see her Nakamura. Shamari saying Nakamura. CJ Rousey probably tough, but Rousey. Oh, okay. Gary and Malty says team. They say Team SmackDown. Okay. That's big. That's big. Gabriel thinks Charlotte's going to be Ronda Rousey. No way. More people saying Nakamura beating. Wow. Nakamura winning the mid-card one. Okay. What about the women's Team Raw or SmackDown for the women's? I say Team with Nia Jax and Tamina. We got Asuka. Yeah, I say Team. Yeah, I think this would be SmackDown's years because of Fox. I think that's a good point. But Fox deal is until next October, though. But this is the last one before then. Yeah. Dean helps Nakamura. Okay, Joker. Okay, I can see that. SmackDown woman. Okay. AOP versus the Bar. I can see AOP winning that one. I can see Buddy Murphy retaining the cruiserweight title. For the tag team one, I don't care. Team SmackDown. So, yeah. Yeah, so I think Team SmackDown may be winning most of them. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Episode 346 episodes in the books, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Evan Tech Prout, I want to give a special shout out to Jumping Jim Brunzell, who's awesome take. Thank you so much for Jumping Jim Brunzell for being a part of the show tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Evan Tech Prout, I am Chris Featherstone. Have a great night until next week. Enjoy Rica Wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I'll do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.